Hello, my name is Antoine from 3C Consultants. I'd like to welcome you to 3C's series of webinars called Essential Guides. Today will be the first of our series, looking at Microsoft 365 and Teams especially. My esteemed colleague and in-house 365 expert, Andrew Buckles, will have the pleasure of presenting to you a more in-depth look at Teams and looking at what 3C could assist you with in getting the most out of your technology. We'll also be running a Q&A. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post them. You'll see them at the bottom of your screen, a little icon, and then it'll pop up on the right-hand side. So as I say, please don't hesitate to write any of your questions. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer them live at this stage because our expert will be doing the presentation, but we'll get back to you with answers in due course. So to begin, for just about any organization of any size, the productivity of its workforce revolves around the basic office suite of email, calendar, word processor, and spreadsheet. But as organizations' workforce has become more mobile in recent years, and especially now with the advent of the situation we find ourselves in, there is a necessity of having to work remotely and away from the office. The basic productivity toolset has had to adapt and change to match the new requirements. A great example of this, and one that stands out above the others, is Microsoft 365, with all it has to offer. It is especially important today, and for the future of any organization, to be able to be a mobile, collaborative business ready to get work done wherever and whenever it needs to. So what I'm going to do also is to share a little video with you, which will introduce you to Microsoft 365. Then I will pass on the presentation to Andrew straight after that. So without further ado, let's start the video.
With a subscription to Microsoft 365 Business, you can run your organization in the cloud and let Microsoft take care of the IT for you. It can manage devices, protect against real-world threats, and provide the latest in business software. With a monthly or yearly subscription, you get productivity apps like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, business class communication with Outlook, Teams, and Yammer, cloud storage with OneDrive and SharePoint, plus business apps that help you reach and work with your customers. In addition to all this, you get an upgrade to Windows 10 Pro from Windows 7 Professional or later. You get the tools to update, manage, and protect your computers and devices, including the devices your employees bring to work. You can install Office apps on these devices, safeguard business data, and remove data if a device is compromised. When used together, you can grow your business with the latest cloud software and world-class protection by Microsoft.
So that was a good video. Now I'm going to pass on to Andrew, who will take you to the next stage of the presentation. Hi, Andrew. How are you doing?
Afternoon, Antoine. Thanks for that. That was a really good intro and a really interesting video. So, guys, this afternoon, obviously, as Antoine said, it's just the first stage of many webinars, hopefully. With today being a particular focus on Teams. Obviously, given the recent circumstances, a lot of organisations have had to roll out elements of 365 and Teams fairly quickly, and perhaps training's been a little bit light. So hopefully today you'll pick up a few useful tips and tricks. So I'm just about to share my screen now, and we'll just go through a short demo, and I'll show you a few key things to help you get up and running on Teams. So when you log into Teams, you'll see your sort of standard general platform. You can see the teams that you've already been added to, but perhaps you want to join or create your own team. So to do that, simply just click the button down here, and then we'll click and create a team. So you build a team from scratch. Personally, I would always recommend that you make it private, meaning you're in control and you can invite the people that you want to. Give your team a name. Can just put a short description in if we need to, but we'll leave that one for today. And once you've created your team, we can then start adding people to it. So we'll add Antoine, and we'll add our new starter, Nathan, and perhaps we'll add Colin in as well. If you ever wanted to add a guest from outside the organisation, as you can see previously, you will be prompted by people inside your organisation when you start typing the name. But for external users, if they don't recognise the email address, you will have to type the full email address to add them to the group. And as you can see here, this is a guest user. So we can add those in, and at any point you can add more and give people different priorities. So perhaps, might want to make Colin an owner, but I think I'll stay in control today, so we'll leave him just as a member for today. So once you've done that, you get the general kind of platform board. So on here, this might be where you start to have a few conversations with colleagues. If you wanted to get the attention of an individual, you would just type @ and click the people that are within the team. So perhaps I want to send Antoine a message. Alternatively, I might also want to let everybody know within the team. So what you would do is you start typing the name of the whole team, and that means everyone will get a notification. So you can see there, you get a small little red icon which lets you know that you've notified everyone within that team. Perhaps as well, it might be a collaboration team, or perhaps with external people. As you can see, I already have a couple here with some clients, which allows guest access. So perhaps I might want to add different channels. So let's say we're going to be working with a marketing agency, and we might want to add them, or possibly we might want to have ideas for ourselves that we keep external. So as you can see here, you can set permissions on each team and each channel. So perhaps I might want to make this an internal channel only, which means I can add only certain people. So again, I might add Antoine, add Nathan, and add Colin, but I wouldn't necessarily want to add the guest member. So once that's done, as you see, it creates a new page exactly the same as the general, but you can see that this has got a padlock on it. So that would mean that any guests that are in the team, they would be able to see the general page, but they actually wouldn't be able to see the marketing ideas page. So that's a general overview of how to set up teams and kind of how the platform works. So I just want to show you a few other things now of how we might be able to collaborate on documents and work together. So you have a file section, and these are all linked and stored back into SharePoint. So I've just created a test document here, which I'll just drag off my desktop to upload it in there. Alternatively, you can also upload, and that is another way of doing it. So perhaps I've written this document and I want one of my colleagues to review this document. So I would open it, and it opens it in Teams. You can edit it in here and all that sort of stuff. You can also open it in the desktop app if you prefer. Again, all changes are saved straight back. You don't have to do anything like that. So perhaps I want to ask one of my colleagues to review the document. So I just start a conversation, make my post, I come out of the document, and then Nathan would get a notification, but he would also see it on this general platform here with a direct link into the document. So Nathan might want to acknowledge that he's seen my message. He might just want to give me a little thumbs up to say that he's seen it. And then similarly, Nathan could come in, make any changes, co-author it with me at the same time, provided we're not working on exactly the same part of the document. And then he could, again, post a reply here to say, yeah, I've reviewed it, it's all good. So that's one way of collaborating on documents. And again, it's all stored and linked back to SharePoint. Now, I just wanted to show you a couple of useful applications that are embedded within Teams, which again may help you to manage processes within your organization and help you to collaborate with others both internally and externally. So when you're on your channel page, there is a plus button here, and we can add in various different applications. So one of my personal favorites is OneNote. You know, we've all used diaries and paper in the past, and then we have to go and type them up, and you know, these things take a lot of time. So by creating a simple notebook, it gives us a place where everyone within the team can share notes and have discussions about, you know, possibly following meetings and ideas and so on. So you can see here that the notebook is now created, and it's an extra tab at the top. So you can have sections within your notebook and give that a title, and then you can have a page. So I may want to add a different section of ideas and give that one a title, say marketing, and then I might give Nathan a page. And so on and so forth. Nathan can come in here, he can write up his notes. I could write mine up in this one, for instance, and it's a good way that all our notes are in one place and we can work together. So if we go back to the general tab, again with the plus button, we can add in another application which I use personally quite a lot, and that is Microsoft Planner. So with Planner, this enables you to assign tasks, whether it's just to yourself, if you want to create your own to-do list, or you could assign tasks out for your team. Perhaps you're working on a project. So I create the planner, and again you can see another tab created here. So each person can have a bucket. So I might give Antoine one, Nathan one, Colin one, and myself. And then we can begin to assign tasks. So we'll give Antoine a task to prepare the next webinar. I could set a due date. So we'll give him a tight deadline of tomorrow, and then I would assign that out. And I would add that task. Nathan, we could give him the responsibility of responding to Q&A. Set him a due date, perhaps by the end of the week. We'll be a little kinder to Nathan. And then perhaps we'll give Colin the next task of recording the next webinar. So give him a deadline perhaps of next week. And then lastly, hopefully I've earned it, but I can relax and have a beer. We'll put that in for Saturday. So the beauty of Planner is you can go into charts and you can see, you know, how many tasks. Perhaps one person's got more tasks, and you can reassign them out, perhaps, you know, to share that workload. So if we go back into here, Antoine could say that, you know, he started his task, and perhaps I would have made that an urgent priority. Nathan has not started his yet. Colin, he's already prepared for the next one and he's done that. But let's just hypothetically say that I'd actually set relax and have a beer for yesterday instead in preparation for this. If we go back into the charts, you can see a much more visual representation. So you see Antoine's in progress, Nathan's not started, Colin's task has disappeared, but it stays on the completed, and then mine is late. Now with Planner, we do all get prompts via email, etc. So generally there is no excuse for a late task, but these things do happen. But as you can see, hopefully this will be a really useful tool for managing workload amongst your team, particularly in the current environment when we're not all in an office and can't necessarily have full visibility of what our colleagues are doing. So that's a quick overview of how we can kind of collaborate with teams, and hopefully you'd find that useful. Just a quick couple of other features. So obviously you have the private chat, so we can create a new chat here. And this can be singular, or I can add in multiple people, just with the plus button. If we want to have a group chat, perhaps we're organising a social event. I know we've got our team meeting coming up next week, so perhaps we'd maybe like to plan that and things like that. Drinks on a Friday, whenever the pubs reopen, of course. The calendar, this is fully linked up to your Outlook, so you can create meetings, very simple, and as I say, they link back both ways to Outlook. So perhaps I'll set up a meeting after this webinar with Antoine, perhaps, and then we pick a time. We'll go for 2:30, let him have some lunch first. And perhaps, we wanted to, you can put it in a specific channel. So if we were to pick one of our teams, etc., I could pick the webinar team and I could put it in the general channel. And then I would send the invite. Antoine would obviously get an invite. We've all seen, hopefully we've all seen how these sorts of invites look over the recent months. You can just see that's loading up there now. But if I was to go back into Teams, within that team, you can actually see that the meeting has been created as well. So again, it's sort of another way for people sort of not to miss it again, if you like. So I know that's a quick overview, and obviously we will be doing more of these webinars over the future weeks, where we'll cover sort of things on calls like screen recording, changing your background, all that sort of stuff, and we'll also cover some of the other key applications within the Microsoft suite as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and obviously if you do have any questions, please do post those in the Q&A, and we will respond after. I'm going to pass back to Antoine now, and he's going to wrap this presentation up, but thanks very much for joining, and hopefully you found a few useful tips in there. Cheers, guys.
Wow, thank you so much. That was really fantastic. I can really see the advantage you and the 3C could offer any organization to empower them to get the best value for their technology, whether they need to actually implement it or just a refresher course. I know I'll be calling you later to book mine in, and also I'm looking forward to completing that task with the beer. That's a good one for me. I'd just like to say to finish off, thank you very much for watching 3C's first essential guides on Microsoft 365 Teams. Thank you for all the questions you've asked. We'll get back to you, as Andrew said. And I hope we can see you on our next section of Essential Guides. Have a great rest of the day and all the best.